A welcome change from what I've been dealing with recently. When I entered the meeting room, Charles rose from his seat, approaching me with slow, deliberate strides. The troubled look in her eyes instantly confirmed my suspicions. Well, I won't mince words. As you might have already guessed, I am in need of your service. Last night there was another murder. Charles paused for a long few moments, briefly biting her lip. The body was mutilated, his ears and eyes cut out, wires stuffed into the sockets. This makes the third victim of this hidden killer, and only the third victim whose body we have found. There may very well be others who have yet to be uncovered, and we can't afford to ignore the situation. Agreed. Then you may target you or me next. You are very much correct. It's a great hazard to all of us and needs to be dealt with swiftly. She shook her head intently, letting out a strange sigh. We believe the killer regularly returns to the sewers, where the previous bodies have been found, because the stench makes even distinct sense very difficult to track. However, right before I asked you here, I received word that my agent lost contact with her partner by the Sunset Strip. She tracked his scent to the sewers, but called for help rather than risk entering by herself. Smart idea, she must have learned from the horror cliche. Indeed, Escobar's sound charging unprepared after murder to rescue someone is a recipe for death. Now, if we were to send a large group, I have no doubt our output would easily realize they have been discovered. This person must be extraordinarily sensitive to the presence of others, as they have somehow avoided detection so far. Therefore, I intend to send only two agents. Kedrick, one of my more combat-skilled assistants, and you. I'm going to find them shards. This ends tonight. I have every faith in you, Midori. That is why I'm assigning you to this task. Her brow furrowed into a deep, unhappy line. There are weapons I have left for you at the front desk, just in case they're necessary. Good luck, Midori. Make sure you return intact. I'll be back with the killer, or what's left of them. I mean, if I'm going to die, I'll make sure I reload the game right before that moment, so I can try again. When I return to the lobby's desk, the clerk discreetly handed me a black box. It held an expensive-looking combat knife and a Glock handgun, complete with a small amount of ammunition. I tucked the weapons into my jacket, wondering if I would end up needing them. Outside, Charles' car was waiting for me. I climbed into the back seat when my partner was already slouched inside. Okay, I don't know why Charles sent you, and honestly, I don't really care. Kedrick, a short tan-man with a hooked nose and beady eyes, gave me a disparaging look. What I need to know is this: what's your combat experience like? Not much, but I can handle a gun. Alright, just stay alert and tell me the second you see anyone down the sewers. And that was the extent of our conversation during the car ride. The perpetually silent driver took us straight to the Sunset Strip. Or more accurately, I felt lost down where the missing agent had disappeared. My senses were already prickling on high alert as I stepped out of the car. Motioning for me to follow, Kedrick carefully stalked down the nearest alley, one hand tucked into his jacket. Sure enough, a manhole carved in the ground was slightly cracked open, marked by the lingering presence of a vampire. We crawled down the ladder, dropping into the rat-infested depths. The seal's potent smell instantly clouded my head, and Kedrick wrinkled his nose in disgust. Ugh, why did it have to be the sewer? Charles said they chose it to mask the scent. I know that, dumbass. Haven't you heard a rhetorical question? That was one too, in case you missed it. Snorting with contempt, Kedrick was only gonna start to crave for it. Watch the back, stay close to me. It gestured for me to turn sideways, pulling him with my back to the wall. In a cautious formation, we start to slowly move along the sewer path. The acidic smell of vampire blood rose over the stench, taking us deeper into the tunnels. I could tell Kedrick felt just as anxious as I did, maybe more so. His eyes darted around constantly, lips pulled back to show his gritted teeth. As we round the next corner, something caught my eye behind us. I instinctively jumped back, squinting to try and make it out. But it was only a rat hopping out the way. Silent, hurried back to Kendrick's side. I turned around, hurrying to catch up with Kendrick, but he was gone. I could still detect his presence, but it was quickly getting distant. How had he vanished so suddenly? There was only one choice. I had to follow him. If I tried to live now, the killer could probably grab me before I escaped, and Kendrick might still be alive. Focusing on his scent, I hurried after them, trying to keep my footsteps silent. At first, it seemed like they were moving incredibly fast, getting further and further away. Soon I realized I was getting closer. They must have stopped moving. A few steps further, and I heard a strange wet sound echoing from the tunnel, until just around the next corner, I spotted them. A thin, androgynous figure crouched before a limp body. I couldn't tell what they were doing, but I saw their hand repeatedly moving up to their face, then back to the corpse. The other hand walked in a sawing motion, and as an awful smell of vampire blood filled the air, I realized they were cutting up Kedrick's flesh. Okay, this is going to be pretty bad. You're not going to shout at them. That is the shittiest thing ever. You can try to shoot at them, but if you miss, you're kinda dead. Let's try to quietly approach them. Hopefully they cannot sense me. Trying to move as soundlessly as possible, I started to approach the figure. It seemed like they didn't notice my presence until he abruptly rose to his feet, jerking towards me. The dim silver light flickered over corpse-like skin, a painfully thin body, and about glittering tools. I stared at him, struck speechless, not just by his face, but by the hatred I could smell on him, strong enough to make my hair stand on end. Oh, hello. The man finally offered a casual greeting, slipping his still dripping scalp into his belt. Then he lifted a bone-thin arm to wipe off his blood-stained lips, which peeled back to reveal yellow teeth. Human teeth, not fangs. I was wondering when you would finally show up. But you just had to bring along a friend, didn't you? His voice didn't match his appearance one bit. A smooth, pleasant baritone rising and falling almost playfully. Well, that's alright. I don't think he'll be eavesdropping on us anytime soon. Have you been the one killing all those vampires? How about I let you work that one out yourself? I've heard you're pretty smart, but I have to say you're not really showing it right now. He slowly shook his head, giving me an unsettling smile. Right, you don't know who I am, do you? No, of course you wouldn't. You can call me Lazarus. But you might know me as the one who was supposed to get bitten. You mean at the abattoir? What happened? Don't worry, we'll get to that in a second. I want to clear something up though. I'm not a murderer. I'm a vampire hunter, which makes me the hero here, not the villain. You know, like soldiers, policemen, the guy who flipped the electric chair switch. Why do you hunt vampires then? Lapsing into silence, he gave me a smile that lasted several seconds, growing more unsettling by the moment. I don't know if you have already realized this, but the true power of a vampire doesn't lie in their blood. Blood is only a part of it. The true power is in their flesh. So don't tell me that shit. It sounds disgusting, doesn't it? You can say, I won't be offended. Nobody likes a cannibal, but blood drinking, that counts as sexist. It's a shame Lestat and Hannibal didn't switch place. He murmured distractedly for a moment, rolling his eyes in obvious scorn. But yes, that's part of the reason why I hunt vampires. The more vampires I kill and eat, the stronger I get. In fact, I've already got more power than a lot of your kind. I guess you could call it a vicious cycle. Why are you so intent on getting power? See, I don't have any big plans, not anymore. I don't want to take over the world or even Los Angeles. I just want to keep doing what I'm doing. He nonchalantly gestured to Cater's ripped open corpse, bony shoulders lifting in a shrug. Everybody needs an outlet, killing just how I self-medicate, like difficult hands-on therapy. But I'm a very difficult hands-on person. As if to illustrate his point, Lazarus brushed a palm across his corseted waist. The truth is, I've been hunting vampires for some time now. I used to hunt a lot less often without all the showmanship. I was afraid I'd get caught and killed. Most hunters are. Until one day, Charles took notice of my efforts and contacted me. His voice abruptly grew strained. He kept smiling at me with a look seemed frozen on his face, like someone had a gun against the back of his head. She and we made a deal. I would get turned and serve her, and she would take care of me. It sounded so nice. Lazarus took a long deep breath, his emaciated chest rising and falling. So there I was, waiting inside the club, ready to graciously accept my promotion. It never came though. My apology afterwards did come either. See, at first I thought it might have been God playing one of his bad shows. When it's not letting kids get raped or giving people cancer, he realized to torture me. But no, it wasn't God. It was just a guy named Andre, and you know him, don't you? Yes, and he's just another egomaniac. I'm glad we can agree on that. Maybe you do have some taste. Anna tried to hide the obvious mockery in his voice. You see, I captured a Golgotha who told me that what happened that night. Andre ordered him to capture the Iscariot who was supposed to turn. He decided to ruin the one thing in life I was looking forward to. And you know what? I don't even care about getting turned anymore. I just want him dead. By the time it showed up to the last word, Arthur seemed to be talking to himself more than me. For a short while, he stared past me, his cold eyes vivisecting something unseen. As soon as he spoke, I snapped back to my face. Alright, I'm done monologuing, even though all that self-pity feels so nice. I don't have anyone to talk down. The vampires never listen to me. I guess this is when you try to kill me or capture me, right? Go ahead. Unless you want to make a deal, that is. I want to save the game first before doing anything. This game will be pretty damn awesome. You can try to do all kind of things here. I'll never make a deal with you. All I want to get out. All I want is to get out of here. I'll leave you in peace. But I'm kinda interested in that. You know what? Fuck it. Huh. That's a shame, but I didn't expect anything less. Reaching down to his belt, Lazarus casually pulled out 2 shining knives. Put yourself in my shoes and imagine how much I hate you right now. Just for existing at all. As soon as those words left his mouth, he suddenly charged towards me, knives outstretched. Fight back. Grabbing my pistol, I fired 3 rapid shots at him. Careful with that. But he dodged them easily, moving unnaturally fast. His movements were strangely graceful, almost like he was dancing. If it were that easy, I would already be dead. Lazarus slipped past me, clicking his tongue. And for a moment, he thought he decided to stop. But the next second, a dull pain ripped through my side. I looked out to see blood oozing from a deep cut dripping to my feet. See, what a good that gets you, Midori. Lazarus' sing-song laughter filled my ears as he did a backflip across my visions, moving in a blur of speed. Even with enhanced skill, I couldn't keep up with his erratic movements. I fired another set of skull rounds at his skeletal figure, but another ball of pain tore into my back. Well, look at that. I think I can see your spine. I guess you do have one after all. I don't think you can run away with this guy behind you. Well, it's clearly one going to work. As blood poured from my open wounds, I yank out my knife, raising it defensively. Copycat. Twirling his bloody knives, Lazarus rolled his eyes and charged for me again. This time I managed to parry at the last moment. Oh. After a short pause, Lazarus began to lash out harder. Metal clashed with metal, over and over again, and as his lightning strikes ran down on me. This blow grew harder and harder, more erratic, more wide. Suddenly, I felt my knife sliced into flesh. I caught the scent of human blood, but instead of smelling sweet, it was incredibly bitter, just like vampires. The next moment, our blade crashed into each other again, filling the tunnel with metallic streaks. Soon I managed to carve into his sides again, cutting wherever I could. But his own knives kept cutting me too. For every strike managed to hit, Lazarus landed too. I wasn't sure how much longer I could keep this up. I could feel my strength slowly crumbling. But soon, Lazarus jumped back from me, putting some distance between us. I was obviously in worse shape, but his wounds didn't seem to be healing as fast as mine. Yet somehow he didn't show the slightest hint of pain. All the bloodlust he had given off just seconds ago had abruptly vanished. Instead, his posture looked almost limp, like all the life and energy had drained from his body. So she found someone to serve the same purpose I could have. The knife slipped from his fingers, sinking into the shallow water. You would think I would have learned by now. Same purpose, what? Without another word to me, Lazarus turned away. The next moment he took off down to the tunnel, his legs carrying with unnatural speed. Even though chasing, there was probably no way I would ever catch up, even though my injuries were gradually sealing over. The rush from fighting dissolved in my stomach, leaving an empty feeling behind. There was no reason left for me to be here. Retracing my steps, I returned to the sewer entrance I arrived from with Kedrick, though this time I was alone. But now the tunnel felt strangely empty, even alone. Maybe it was because I knew the looking person nearby wasn't out to kill me, so the threat I sent in the air had all but vanished. Charles' car was still there where Kendrick and I had left it, with the driver silently sitting inside. While the climb alone, he didn't say anything about my missing companion, and he didn't wait before taking off into the streets either. It's like a freaking robot. He doesn't care. He's just going to do his job, and that's about it. The air freshener scent lobby welcomed me back, almost shocking my sense. That dry blood from my injuries must have given up strong smell, because all the escort waiting around gave me long stares. And at this rate, as soon as I stepped inside the meeting room, Charles abruptly cut off her words to the agent. They both stared at me for a few moments, obviously trying to figure out what had happened. Midori, what happened? I could see Char's eyes grimly flicking over my blood-stained clothes, her nose wrinkling at the smell. Something I'm going to need a really good explanation for. An explanation? Char's were in silence for a short time, her eyes much more troubled and grave than usual. Then she glanced at the agent beside her, gesturing towards the door. If you'll allow us a moment, please. Of course. After a short nod, the man turned on the distant hill, swiftly making an exit. The killer, I presume you found them then. When we were by ourselves, she addressed me with a low, worried murmur. Did you know it would be him, Lazarus? Lazarus, no, of course it didn't. I had considered the possibility, but I believed it was no longer a threat to us. Her face slowly darkened, expression flickering between disgust and worry. There's only one way for vampires to increase their physical power, through the consumption of another vampire's flesh. However, just as our blood is poisonous to each other, the flesh is too, with some incredibly rare exception. Only few vampires have the immunity to so much either. But for humans, consuming our bodies gives them incredible, though only temporary, powers. That is how Lazarus grew so powerful. He had promised to change his ways after he became an agent. That was before you entered the scenario, however, and he disappeared. It's dangerous, Charles. I think he's going to keep hunting us. It's difficult to say for certain. For a moment, her voice sounded a little uneven, even shaking. But when she spoke again, it had returned to a more cool, collected tone. Now that he has delivered his message, I don't know whether he'll keep killing. However, I will have my agents remain on high alert now that we know what we are facing. You have done admirable work nonetheless. I won't forget your bravery and tenacity in escaping his clutches. From the brisk way she cleared her throat, it was obvious that she didn't want to discuss Lazarus any further. That is all. Please leave me. About Cadbury. There's no need to explain further. I can already assume what happened. It is unfortunate, but he accepted the risk when he undertook this task willingly. Good night, Midori. After I left the meeting room, I headed upstairs to clean myself off, slipping on a temporary change of clothes to look less like a murderer. The hotel staff offered to mend and wash my jacket. It certainly needed it, considering the long gash Lazarus' knives had left. Despite the length of my sewer adventure, the sun hadn't begun to rise yet. I had enough time to visit somewhere, or else I could stay at the hotel. Let's go somewhere else. Let's visit the beach house. I had my driver take me to Santa Monica. Yes, again. pushed open the door, greeted by cheerful sound of conversation and clinking glasses. There was a quiet crowd inside, though Randall wasn't anywhere to be seen. Chatted the mouth. I went over to the nearest group of mouth, trying to pick up bits of their conversation. Just leave already, man. I'm so sorry. Ready to get out and ride. I'm kind of bummed that Randall's not coming with us, though. Stay here, but hey. Alright, let's take time at that. On the way, they were jostling keys and pulling on leather gloves. It seems like they're all heading out to ride their motorcycles. Hey, Midori. You wanna go with us? I think we got a spare bike that you can ride. A familiar mother called to me, grinning brightly. Sure, let's go. Sweet, come on. Why not? You just survived that encounter. Let's do something to release the stress out of your body. We spend the next hour or so racing along the beach, riding together under the moonlight. The mother held and cheered the whole way, and something about it reminded me of pack running in the wild. I could hear with their voice the sound of roaring engines and the ocean steadily crashing around us. For some reason, in those moments, I felt less human and more animalistic than ever before. And by the time we finally returned to the house, that untamed, uncaged instinct still stirred deep in my chest. That will add more points to the beast side, I guess. Oh, we can keep on going. We said the started earlier. It seemed like a quiet night, although a few people lined the booths and were mingling in the corners. When I glanced past a group of golfers by the bar, I noticed Heat standing off to the one side, smoking a cigarette. A moment later, our eyes met and he gave me a gentle smile. Go talk to Heat. Midori. You came by alone this time. That makes things a little more comfortable, I think. Okay, we have already talked to him about this. I met this guy, Lazarus, in the sewers. Lazarus. I think Charles mentioned him a few times. He sounded a little warmer than usual whenever she brought his name up in conversation. He hesitated briefly, thinking his fingers into his scarf for a moment. But ever since around the time you returned, I haven't heard her say anything more about it. It might be for the best if we don't discuss Lazarus here, though. I think she kept quiet about him for a reason. And you know that someone tried to assassinate one. They tried to assassinate him? That's horrible. The mother thing, it was an Iskari. No, it can't be an Iskari. That's someone under Shard's orders, please. He sighed heavily, giving me a worried look. Please, Midori, stay safe when you're around Randall. I don't want anything to happen to you or him. About something else. That's all for now, I think. Alright. And you're good night. I chat with the patrons before leaving here. It seemed to be mostly Kokota and the bar tonight. Isolated vampires brooding to themselves on small groups, chatting about things I couldn't understand. Watched me closely, but never seemed particularly interested in striking up a conversation. Just as I about to give up and head somewhere else, I noticed a few vampires off in the darker, more secluded area of the bar murmuring as they passed something around. But when I drew closer, pulled up my curiosity, I realized they were filling up syringe needles, gleaming with a deep red liquid. Everything was pretty fucked up. One of them, a man who looked like he had been turned in his late 40s, gave me a hoarse chuckle as I stepped closer. His eyes were dark and sunken, like two burnt-out light bulbs on a solid, gaunt face. A bunch of vampire junkies, not very sexy, is it? Is this a normal thing shooting up in the bar? Pretty normal. Nobody really cares as long as you're quiet. I let out another dry laugh, though his eyes never have a trace of humor. We don't do it for fun, if that's what you think. Just do it to stop the visions, otherwise they're always going, piling up. He pulled the bun out cigarette from between his lips, using it to motion towards the needles. See those syringe? Got some morphine, CNS, some antipsychotics to keep it all down, and somehow stuff we probably shouldn't be giving to the humans with brain. Gotta take it almost all the time, every day. Maybe if you didn't suppress them, you could learn to deal with them. You tried that for a long time. But for me, when it got to the point where I didn't see any reason to keep on struggling, thought I would give drugs a shot. The man flicked his cigarette onto the floor where it joined the scattered dirt, blood, droplets, and ashes. For us, you either go crazy or you go crazy trying to act like you're normal. Just the way it's always been. After a long pause, he turned his lifeless stare over to my face, watching me numb. Well, I'm gonna head into the back. You take care. Rubbing a hand along his forehead, the man turned to follow the other both into a side hallway. The sound of their dragging heels followed them out of sight, until finally that disappeared too. Let's get out of this place. I left the back white ambulance returning to the street. Let's visit the blood and ropes. Flipping off the lights, I gaze out the window into a sparkling panorama. It was so strange to think that if I hadn't been turned, this room would belong to Lazarus. Where I would have been right now, still in Hollywood, chasing my dreams. Or if Hollywood rejected me, would I have ended somewhere very different instead? My coachee pressed to the pillow. I left another night unsettling thoughts, but the comforting arms of sleep. After my encounter with Lazarus, Charles gave me the next night off. I slept in a little bit, but no one called visited me, so I decided to crowd the city by myself. In a short while I had been in Hollywood as a human, I found an unusual spot that quickly captured my interest. It was only open at late at night due to its unique nature, so now it was a perfect time to visit. That place happened to be a Davis S&M club tucked away somewhere dark, several articles that was also a Buddhist monk retreat. Miniature bat cave with live bats. What the fuck is going on? Save the game. We're going to the S&M club. Darker, more common clubs weren't anything rare in Los Angeles. But one night I had stumbled into a lab true debauchery. A place that made every other S&M club look about as tame as Mr. Rogers. Wait, are you referring to Mr. Rogers, Captain America? I hadn't gotten a good look at it during my first and only visit, but from the brief glimpse I had seen of the patrons, I felt much safer returning as a vampire. It was a pleasant night, so I decided to stroll there instead of taking a taxi. But as I stood at the crosswalk, I noticed someone familiar hurrying towards me. That man from the abattoir, Nick. Hey, Midori. He slowed to a halt in front of me, his eyes darting around briefly. Glad I could catch you. I've been looking for you all night. Let me guess, some kind of bad news, right? No, not unless seeing around the concert. That's bad news. He smiled for a moment, rolling his shoulders. You should head to the beach. Randall's out by the shore, or was when I left him anyway. He would have called you, but Charles has gotta have your phone tapped, and after the other night, I wouldn't risk the Iscari tracking us down. Why does he want to see me? Is something wrong? Wrong? No, I don't think so. Hey, you can ask him yourself when you get there. Don't keep the guy waiting. With that, Nick threw me a casual wave and shut off, leaving me to catch a taxi. During the ride to Santa Monica, I reflected on the last time I had seen Brando. So does... You mean... Okay, this one means nothing then. It really doesn't matter which option you pick here because you're going to meet up with Brando anyway. He had looked badly shaken up, but most wolves were eager to protect him, clustering around the hero. And Randall was probably tapping up that he had already recovered from the assassination attempt. Still, when I left his side, there was a chill in his eyes that I had never seen before. After the car dropped me by the pier, I strolled along the beach towards Randall's house. It felt calm and peaceful, at least not until I was in earshot of the mother partying outside. Tonight they seemed to be got in full force, filling the house and scattered around on the sand, drinking and laughing. Some of them noticed me and waved, flashing cheerful smiles. As I crossed the sand in front of the house, I spotted two starkly different figures next to each other. Then we came back furious the next day. Do you know what Marcus told him? He said, "Why? Prolapse bills character, no refunds." That's fucking customer service. Alicia and Jack were happily chatting away, holding drinks. They seemed too absorbed in their conversation for me to interrupt, so I kept walking past them. There was no sign of Brando or among them at the bar, but it sounded like people were still talking about him. Oh, and I was telling Brando about some of my ideas earlier. Once Char's gone, think all the great things we can do at LA. Yeah, but first we gotta lay down some rules so we don't get tired rising up again. Most sure nobody's better than anyone else. I feel Marva sitting on the sand fire comments back and forth, nodding at each other's words. Oh yeah, of course. I bet I'm just gonna get everyone on the same page real quick. But what should we do with that Iscari and Gulls? There's no way they... The crushing waves drown out the rest of their dialogue. I was about to head inside to look at Randall. When I finally emerged from the group, I spotted a lone figure walking along the shore, gazing into the ocean. Even though he looked the same as always, though tall, broad body with a steady stride, something about him seemed strangely vulnerable. I mean, goddamn, the song playing right now is perfect with this game. God, this must be fate here. As I wandered off to his side, Rhino turned to glance over at me, his face blank. The next moment, he put on a small, welcoming smile, beckoning me to walk beside him. Hey, Midori. Nice night out. Better now that you're here. You look pretty lonely by yourself. Lonely? Really? Maybe it's a marvel enemy showing itself, huh? A chuckle, a hollow sound, not like his deep, bellowing laughs. I'm glad you got my message. As we walk along the shore, Renner's gaze slowly drifted past me, watching the laughing group in the distance. I wanted to go find you myself, but after I got shot, the others don't want me to go anywhere alone. They're real five now, even more than before. So everything I had to keep them from launching an unplanned attack would have been mass suicide. He His last words came in a disbelieving scoff, a little more close than I was used to hearing. Slowing to a halt, Randall turned to face me. "You know me, Dory?" He murmured my name quietly, his voice barely audible over the waves. "Things won't be like this for much longer." I know, and I'm dreading whatever will happen. Yeah, so am I. Randall ran one hand through his long, shaggy hair, exhaling a heavy sigh that sounded like it was being crushed out of him. The sticking point is Charles doesn't want to get her claws out of LA. Andre, too, he wants power over the city even more than she does. His voice took on a hint of a snarl, but the moment of anger seemed to pass as quickly as it came, and his clenched fingers relaxed against his sides. Listen, after the other night, I couldn't stop thinking about it, so I'm gonna come right and say it. I don't know if it will be tomorrow or next week or next month, but this world is gonna have a shit show finale. You will have to pick a side, and if we're not on the same team, he threw off, letting the silence finish his sentence. Honestly, I wish I could stay neutral. In any other situation, you might have had a chance at that. But Charles is ready to turn on your ass the second you try and ditch. And you need a lot of friends to protect me. I'd do anything to keep you safe, Midori, but unless you made it real clear you're against Charles. Well, sometimes my word alone isn't enough to keep the overeager guys from lashing out. With a slow, uncertain shake of his head, Randall rubbed at his eyes. But you seem ready to jump ship, and I can't tell you how fucking happy that makes me. Even though you're trying to cover in the middle of this shit show, and everyone's trying to win you over, you chose the rebel course. I mostly just hate being told what to do. Yeah, I don't care about the better future or fighting for the true cause or whatever. See, now you get it. Randall beamed at me for a few moments, almost breaking into a grin. But before long, his smile started to wane. He turned his head away from me slightly, as if to hide the shadow in his eyes. When I was a kid, and even as a grown guy, I dealt with some fuck up things, like most people do. I'm not gonna whine and bitch about it to you, or go on a TV talk show or whatever, but I'll say that most of those things happened because I was too weak to stand up for myself. His eyes drifted down to his open palm, where I noticed his bandage was covered with dark sketches. The figures he had drawn looked even more deformed and abstract than normal. I went through so much fucking abuse from people who had power over me until one day I decided I wouldn't take it anymore. That's why, to me, it's important that you're on the rebel side. And important that you don't listen to anybody else. He stared at me for several wordless moments, his eyes darkened by a severity that I wasn't used to seeing. But, the whole reason I brought this up was, "Hey, Randall!" When a voice called out to us, Randall froze. We both glanced back to see Nick waving at us from nearby off towards the group. "Randall!" Marla and Joe were asking if we could show them. Tell them to fuck off. Randall snapped back, his voice sudden, sharp and cold. "Can't I talk to Midori for one fucking minute? One fucking minute without some kind of shit happening?" Randall's hiss words threw off. As the moment faded into silence, all three of us seemed equally caught off guard. Ah, fuck, I didn't mean to. Sorry, Nick. Don't worry about it. We know you're stressed. Nick shook his head, flashing Reynolds' smile. Our guys met for a moment, and he offered me a shot not to. I'll go help them, say that you're busy with me, Dory. You've got to take care of yourself. We need you, you know? With a short wave, Nick turned to stroll back to the house. It didn't seem like Reynolds' outburst had affected him at all. Someone is grumpy tonight. Yeah, I guess it's just the old Marva temper. He chuckled, rubbing a hand through his hair a little sheepishly. Shit, what was that thing? I need a goddamn secretary to follow me with a scratch pad. Ah yeah, the reason why I care so much about what happens to you. He fell silent again, this time to hesitantly scratch at his beard, mulling over something in his head. Ah, fuck it. Before I knew it, Randall's two powerful tattoo arms were flung around me, trapping me in the heart. As he clutched me against his much larger form, Randall's arms seemed to tremble slightly, not squeezing as hard as he seemed to want to. It felt like part of him was afraid he would break me, and the other part was afraid to ever let go. I'm just happy I got to meet you because the way you hang in there, the way not even this shit in your life can pull you down. You've got this. Fuck, I don't know how else to say it. This will. Like you're strong enough to grab your own destiny and shape it. When I first saw you in that garage, I thought to myself, this girl's just gonna carve a path and survive. No matter what kind of shit fate has in store for her. Rhino's words were filled with an unusual determination. Almost like he was talking to himself as much as me. I look at you, Midori, and I honestly think you could do anything. In this world, it needs more people like you. It's been hard, but I don't plan on giving up. I don't plan on letting you give up either. Let's just esteem, right? He warmly nestled his head against mine, squeezing me for a few short moments. Finally releasing me from the embrace, trying to pull away slightly, gazing intently at my face. The gentle wave slid up to touch the edge of our boots, before slowly falling back into the ocean. Ah, fuck, sorry if I'm acting funny, Midori. All this stress just gets to me sometimes. Almost having your head blown up doesn't make a guy feel any more relaxed, I think. He rubbed a hand along his forehead, finally letting out a weak laugh. I've got to take responsibility not just for my own actions, but for the actions of everyone in the clan, in my group. I can't wait until all the world shit is over and I won't be stuck in this fucking role anymore, but until then, I need a sharp girl like you to keep me sane, you know? A hopeful light flicker back into his eyes. I'm about as sharp as a butter knife, but I do my best. Don't put yourself down like that. You don't deserve it. Besides, butter knives are still useful, you know. Cutting butter, spreading jam, giving warning steps. One of Brandon's shaking laugh rumble in his chest. Just a little more hollow than it used to be. Well, Midori, now that I have talked your goddamn ears off. There's a little while left until the sun comes up, and you never finished that story you were telling me back in Saturn earlier. I don't forget, you know. I still can't believe the fucking sea turtles were doing that in the cruise. How did he explain those bruises to the church later, though? Walking side by side along the shore, Rhino and I fell into an easy conversation like the ones we used to have. felt so peaceful compared to our last meetings, almost unknowingly relaxed. Even though we weren't that far from Hollywood, it could have been light years away from us, along with all the cares and worries of conflict. By the time I finally left the beach, Randall seemed much happier than when I had arrived, like my presence alone had calmed him down. He was reluctant to let me go, but finally agreed, only after I promised to hang out with him again soon. As I made my way towards the pier, I heard the sound of Brenda's climax rushing out towards him, surrounding him like an adoring flock. And when I glanced over my shoulder, I could no longer make out his shape among them. A faint gripped echo from somewhere inside the garage. It filled my ears as I walked along, my thoughts drifting absently. I was on my way back from my last mission. Sharks had sent me to blow up an old storage facility. Some upstart vampire and his crew who had defected to Randall's side was using the place to hide weapons. She had sent me out alone, so I had purposefully sabotaged my own explosive. I planted the explosives like she had asked. When I safely escaped the building, a satisfying boom echoed inside the facility, which started to crumble down. Now I was on my way back to the hotel, taking a shortcut through the parking garage. With any luck, I would arrive with time to spare and have the rest of the night to myself. A few weeks had passed since that night on the beach with Randall. I had been so busy traveling around LA on various assignments that I had gotten much time to see him. Now and then, blah blah blah, we linger on the sand, discussing everything politically what's playing on the radio. We'll always talk about what we would do when the war ended, planning our vacations, projects, and many other dreams. Somewhere in Randall's voice, I've always felt like there was a hint of doubt. With the war at its current stalemate, I understood his feelings. Because I felt them too, in a way. The garage was unknowingly quiet. All I could hear was the sound of my own footsteps and the droning hum of fluorescent lights overhead. I never figured out who kept these lights on, or if some electrical company had just never bothered to shut them off. Somewhere far above me, thunder rumbled outside, announcing a storm that might have already arrived. Just another calm night as a vampire in Hollywood. As I approached the staircase that would lead me outside, something made me freeze. I felt a presence nearby. It was approaching me from the staircase and from above. Pull out my weapons. I hadn't left the hotel defenseless. Sharks had insisted I bring along my knife and handgun, and I quickly pulled them from my jacket. A moment later, a different rumble started to echo from above, the sound of a car engine. It wasn't a chance encounter or a friendly visit. I was being ambushed. Over there, get her! She spoke, trying to run away, just like I said she would. The stairway door flew open, letting out a group that rushed towards me. Almost simultaneously, a large black car pulled around the corner, angling itself to block my path. For the seconds, I found myself being surrounded. But almost all the present, I felt weren't vampires. They were humans. Wait, I want to talk to her first. Two figures pushed through the groups, swaggering towards me. Something about the woman seemed strangely familiar. No, she was definitely familiar. I'd seen her in the hotel lobby, angrily shouting at the desk clerk. She must have been an escort. I didn't recognize the man, but he had the normal air of a mob, only 10 times more bloodthirsty. this is gonna be good. Yeah, it'll be a fucking great. I can't wait to wipe that dumbass smile off your face. And my boss now eagerly at me, almost salivating like a mad dog. I'm not going to kill you though. Flashing me a delighted smirk and scary emotion to the group surrounding me. It's guys the hunters, and we made a deal with them to hand over. They're really interested in all the juicy vampire secrets you know about, and they're gonna have a great time breaking them out. Oh, how can you just betray your own kind? Don't try to make us feel good, it's not gonna work. We don't even see you as one of our own kind. The look on her face confirmed what she said. The same sneer as someone who had steep in shit. This chick and I, normally we hate each other's guts. But we hate your fucking guts even more, even if she doesn't hate you for the right reasons. The two exchanged glances, returning their hateful stares to me a moment later. Everybody knows you're just pretending to be a rebel, that you're a big fucking jerk. If you were really on the people's side, you would have already cut open Queen, bitch. But no, it's like you don't even stand for anything, like you're just playing both sides. You're insane, you can't kill me just because you disagree. Says who? If we can fry murderer, why not politicians who murder? Oppressors, dictators. How the world would be a better place if all the fuckers like to got gunned down. Ugh. None of this even matters. I just want to make sure she's not coming back. As if unkilled, the hunters impatiently shifted around me, muttering to themselves. From what it sounded like, they were going to force me along in the car nearby. Come on, let's get the shit over with. I want to see her squirm. Agreed, go on humans, take her already. Yeah, my choice would either dying here or being tortured by hunters. I find a stand seemed like a better way to go. Grabbing my knife, I sprang towards the vampires. Hey, get. I managed to grab them up, holding him in front of me like a human shield. All the hunters' guns pointed at us, but they hesitated. The next moment, right as I blinked, suddenly the mother's head was gone. The only thing left was an empty, bleeding stump. A circular saw blade lay on the ground just past his body, next to his severed head. Ah! The girl shrieked, stumbling back on the mother's corpse. The second huge blade whistled past, slicing one of the hunter's arms in half. Where's it coming from? I don't. Shit, no, please! Within seconds, chaos and panic shrieks filled the garage. Everywhere I looked, blood splattered the floor, limbs and chunks of flesh blowing in red pools. All the hunters were wildly firing their guns, trying to hit the unseen attacker. One of them turned to the run, racing for the exit, until a saw blade gore through his back, toppling into the ground. Take cover, fuck the hunters. Not wanting to be the next victim, I dived behind an old car, huddling to the ground. All around me, I heard the hunters' panic screams, abruptly cut off by wet slicing sounds. Whatever the attacker was, it wasn't showing them any mercy. The bloodbath didn't take much longer to finish. Before long, all the hunters were dead, their bodies littering the concrete. The old vampire who had escaped was scary. She dashed away as fast as her legs could take her, disappearing around the corner, not looking. As her footsteps faded away, I was left alone again, surrounded by a sea of mangled corpses. But in the eerie, peaceful silence that followed, I heard the stairway door open and close. You can try to follow the attacker. Now I am curious. That sound had to be the mysterious attacker leaving. Knowing this would be my only chance to see them, I'd sprint for the stairs, slamming the door open. There wasn't any normal vampire stand for me to follow. It was something strange, alien. Still, I heard footsteps climbing above me, so I hurried desperately after them. When I reached the surface, I didn't see anyone at first, until I glanced down the alley, just in time to glimpse a tall, dark-haired figure stalking into the street. Not Marcus. His presence felt different. Different, but familiar, oddly, terribly familiar. Lazarus must be. But it was too faint and obscure for me to place it. I followed him as quickly as I could, rushing out of the alley. Out on the main road, a huge crowd was gathered for some kind of celebrity event. The man must have disappeared to the bustling throng of people because I couldn't see him anywhere. In that crowd, there was no way I would be finding him anytime soon. His presence was just so hard to pin down, like it belonged to a ghost or something else I couldn't even comprehend. Disappointed, I ended up getting a cab, riding back to the hotel with even more questions in my mind. Some flecks of blood, both the hunters and vampires, from the snow had landed on my face and clothes. The taxi driver gave me a funny look, but he didn't seem as worked out as he probably should have been. Maybe it wasn't his first time seeing a passenger like me. By the time I reached the hotel, I felt a little more composed. It was difficult to process what had happened. Both of me and the hotel clerk, who stared at me open-mouthed as I arrived. Miss Locke would like to speak with you on the phone. Boy, do I ever have a story for her. After quickly dialing up a number, the clerk handed me the receiver. On the second ring, a voice picked up. Midori, is that you? What on earth happened? You should have been back some time ago. I heard a touch of worry in her voice. I was attacked on my way back. By whom exactly? Of all heavens. Go on, just tell me everything. At Char's frustrated command, I explained what had happened in the parking garage. She listened silently, and I could almost hear the deep crease knitting on her brow. When I finally finished, she let out a long sigh. The feeling clinging properly, Char's taking off her glasses. You seem to have this remarkable talent for attracting the worst sort of attention. If one of your attackers escaped, I have no doubt the news was spread like Wi-Fi, so be prepared for any rumors drifting about. And the individual who rescued you is nearly just as worrying. Have you any idea who it was? His presence felt familiar, like my sire. Your sire? Charles murmured, sounding shocked. I have no idea what his motives might possibly be. I suppose he could have felt obliged to protect his progeny. But it's strange he never come to your aid before tonight. Perhaps you'll take us attract his attention somehow, or provoke his wrath. Either way, I don't think you should count on him swooping in to rescue you again. She exhaled another sigh, sounding as resigned as she did confused. Oh my god, the fucking internet. I cannot believe that it got fucked up real bad. Well, regardless of your mysterious savior, you have to be on high alert from now on, Dory. I doubt most of our vampires feel so passionately about you. But after the night, we can't ignore the possibility. I don't know what I did to them. I don't know what I did to get them so woke up. Take my word for it, people don't require much provocation to get woke up. Even if you accidentally shake their view of the world, they will take it as a grave personal offense. As if you threaten their very existence. Considering curbing your behavior, assuming you don't want to deal with more attacks. Every night. After clearing her throat pointedly, Charles paused for a moment. I'm out of the city right now on business, but I'll be back at the hotel tomorrow. We'll discuss things further then. Do try to stay alive until I have arrived, and until I have returned. I will, and you should do the same. Indeed, our times haven't come yet, Midori. With that, she abruptly hung up. I handed the phone back to the anxious-looking collector who offered me a temporary change of clothes again. By the time I had gotten the blood off my face and hair, there were still a few hours until sunrise. I had time to venture out into the city again if I felt brave enough. You know what? I'm not feeling it. I'm just going to save the game right here. And we're going to end this session right here.